Hello, welcome back to PlayStation Access. I'm Nathan, I'm here with Holly.
Hello.
We are still at PSX 2017. It's the last evening. You can kind of see that it's getting evening-y. We have got, this is maybe our last video that we're going to make while we're actually here. And this is 7 awesome games that you have never heard of. Which, I hope that's true. Basically, it's some stuff that we've come across at the game, at the show that we really, really like.
Yeah.
Smaller stuff, because that's what the show has been about. Like,
That's been amazing.
Like we've been walking the show floor, just kind of trying to find some. And there's games that I've never heard of before, which have been amazing. And that's what we're going to do. And you've got 4, I've got 3. You're going to start.
I'm going to start with The Adventure Pals. Now,
okay.
I played this and I basically lost my mind. It is the most amazing side-scrolling platformer. Think Adventure Time vibes with a slightly Scribblenauts aesthetic.
It's Scribble. I was trying to think. Yes.
It's the blocky head.
Yeah. Okay.
Scribblenauts. I said that to them as well. It's made by 2 people.
Okay.
An art guy and a programmer, and that's
all you need, guys.
And it's so much fun. So you basically, the bad guy is taking old people and turning them into hot dogs.
Okay.
So he's taking your dad, but then on your birthday, your granddad gave you a giraffe that lives in your backpack, and you can use the special moves of the giraffes as a giraffe copter. So he uses his tongue.
Like
so
real giraffes.
So that you can
right.
fly.
Yeah.
And then you also get Mr. Rock.
Mr. Rock.
The Rock.
Okay.
Who becomes like one of your partners. It's challenging.
So we're getting this kind of fun, surreal, strange, puzzly co-op.
Bit Castle Crashers as well.
Right. What's the gameplay like? Frantic? What's it?
Yeah, really frantic. So it's that good old platforming, lots of jumping, traversal. Then you've got to manage jumping. Then you've got to take out the enemies at the same time. They've all got different attacks.
And it's funny.
It's
kind of
loads of humor, loads of color. Excellent. It is my campaign for Blue Skies in gaming.
Everyone we know at the show has been talking about it. They've all been like, if you played Adventure Pals, you've got to play Adventure Pals.
Everyone has been like, go play it.
Okay, cool. Right, okay, that's your number 2 then. We'll have one of mine.
Go on then.
I played Accounting Plus, which you probably have heard of on the grounds that it was at the Game Awards last week, but I played it. So what do you think about that?
I took lots of pictures of you playing and I haven't posted them yet.
Oh, cool. Thanks, because nobody looks, cooler than when they're sat oblivious to everybody.
No, you did actually look quite cool, which is probably why I haven't posted them.
Okay.
There's no
sure,
joy.
I wasn't doing this. Anyway, so Accounting Plus is, I don't even know what it is, right? It's definitely a PlayStation VR game. It's weird, man. It's like a sort of an Adult Swim game.
No, it really is.
Oh, is it?
No, as in like that's really its type.
Because I know they do awesome games. And it's William Pugh, who made Stanley Parable and some other things.
Which was Stanley Parable is really, really something if you haven't played it.
And one of the co-creators of Rick and Morty, who also does voices for this, so there's like a familiar tone, and it is that sense of humor. It's kind of, like they're basically the core of. You start and you're like in this little woodland thing. It's like really, and you move over to a tree, you kind of teleport from spot to spot and interact with stuff, and from that perspective is kind of like the same like level of interactivity as like Job Simulator, say, but it's ruder. Like, so this guy just pops out of a tree and starts swearing at me, and I'm like, what are you doing? You solve a little puzzle, get a virtual reality headset on in the game, and then I'm on the back of a getaway truck with a
I saw this
with a group of like giant furry animals who are, but like imagine that scene where Tim Roth's shot in the back of a car in Reservoir Dogs, and he's like, I'm dying. But imagine that with like furry animals. And then I was like killing policemen with seeds.
The flower gun.
It was really weird, but good. Accounting Plus is coming to PlayStation VR, I think on the 19th of December.
It is.
So that's number 2. Number 3.
Okay, also continuing the really weird thing.
Okay.
Donut County.
Donut County was great, but and also at the on the PSX PlayStation presentation.
It was.
Yes. So you might also have heard of this one. You can tell that we're cheating quite a lot.
No, they're too good not to mention. I'm sorry.
And this one is, again, it's about the humour and but also kind of puzzly. You described it as Katamari in Reverse.
Actually, yeah, it is called Katamari in Reverse. The artist is incredible and has done some really lovely work. Everyone's kind of sassy, it's funny.
Yeah.
But actually,
sassy raccoons.
It does deal with some the themes actually behind it, like the gentrification.
Oh, really?
Of Los Angeles and where he lives, as well as just actually being a really, really fun game.
Right.
The idea is the raccoon is mad. for some reason.
Right, he does seem
And
manic.
he's making a little hole and he's gathering stuff up. And then as you do that, the hole grows bigger until you literally hoover up the whole level, a bit like Katamari.
And then certain things fall in the hole, and some of them are like poking out, so you can manipulate things in the world.
Yeah, like with the snakes.
There are like there are like puzzles and stuff.
And you can text the
Donut
raccoon,
County.
and then you can send emojis to the raccoon, and he's emojis back.
Cool.
It was just really, it's like, if anyone who sees the Tuesday checklist knows that a little while ago I was calling out for a new Katamari game, and in some weird way, I feel like I found it with this game.
The universe has delivered you one. That's cool. Okay. So number 4 then, one of my games. I cannot read my own writing there. I'm going to go with Earth Knight. Okay. This is a game that we walked past.
Oh yeah, I remember this now.
And we only stopped because the music was so loud. They had like an amp for their music.
No, the PR guy grabbed me and was like, "You did Yonder. We met you before you did Yonder."
You knew
I
him
found
already.
Yonder at PSX last year with Rob.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Well, you're here and you check out the game." And I was like, "Be really rude to say no."
All I could hear was this chiptune
tunes.
music, which was amazing. The game is like it's sort of like a perpetual runner, except you're either a small girl or a bearded man who looks a bit like Rob.
He actually does, like a ginger Rob.
Yeah, well, he's bald, so no, he's bald with a big beard. But I think it's a black beard, but not as big as Rob's. No, it's not as small as Rob's. And basically, you run along the back of a dragon, and there are enemies, and you can jump, and then you can time your kind of fall by pressing down on the pad. Your jumps are really airy, so the timing took some getting used to. It was quite hard. Otherwise, you're like picking up bonuses and different ways of destroying stuff. If you get really good at chaining your attacks and bouncing off things and double jumping, there are like bonus platforms way above the dragon.
Yeah, you're on this back of a dragon. You get to the end,
Like
and
a
you've then got to like
Chinese
kill the dragon.
You stab it in the eye.
And then like to change like worlds, you're like free falling and you land on the back of a dragon, and that's how you pick a new level. It was so
Luckily,
cool.
we've got capture of this, so people will not just be looking at us going, "What are they talking about?" You can actually see it. And also, one of the guys who was making the game who played it for us actually, which is why
No, but they didn't have to. You could have got away with that, Nath. You could have said it was you.
I know, but no, mine was different. He is a kind of a chiptune artist anyway, composes with Game Boy, and his music in the game is beautiful, and it's worked into the game because when you combo bouncing attacks on enemies, they play sequences of notes which tarry up to whatever the music is doing in the level anyway.
Bit like Bit Trip.
It's beautiful. Yeah, it is.
Think Bit Trip. I called it Bit Trip because it's a procedural, like a constant runner. Meets Sonic. Dash of Loco Roco.
Yeah, that's true. It's great, and it's I don't know how deep an experience it is, but like in terms of like, you're doing something nothing else is doing. Yeah, Earth Knight, loved it.
Yeah, really cool.
Number
4?
I want to say 4, but it's not, is it? I don't know. But whatever number we're at now, Hollie's about to tell us about a game.
Moonlighter.
Right, I think this is 5. Yes.
So I walked past the booth on this one. They were showing 3 games. And of the 3, I don't know what it was. Maybe the art style called out to me. Went over and introduced myself and was like, "This looks really cool."
I had actually heard it. It's the only one I actually had heard of before because I described it to you.
I hadn't heard of it at all.
It is beautiful.
I was like, "Oh, do you mind if I capture?" And they're like, "Sure."
Yeah.
It is a shopping sim, Zelda dungeon-like, roguelike
game.
Platformer adventure game.
Yeah.
So you are a shopkeeper, and you find the items to sell in your shop by going into these procedurally generated dungeons. They're tougher. You got to fight your way through them.
Yep.
And then once you've come out of the dungeon, you open up your shop. And then you've got to manage the customers. You've got to sell the items, find the right prices. Is the item in demand? Is it not?
Because someone, when you're just going along and buying all these items from these games, someone's got to have gone out and got them. And they're hard to get, right?
I loved the pace change. You go into a dungeon and you could leave the dungeon whenever you wanted as well. If you wanted a few little things that night, you go in, pick up the items, then open your shop up. But like as people were coming into the shop, they'd have little like anime style faces that would appear to give you some indication of whether they were happy about the price or if it made them really sad, which is why they didn't buy it.
So you are actually managing your shop. It's like a little management sim as well.
You can also upgrade the shop as well.
Nice.
You can also upgrade the town so you can get other people to move in and bring the town back to life.
Wow.
All the while, it's got this dungeon crawler roguelike attached to it. It's
that's awesome.
Really, really impressed by it.
I should have watched your footage.
Beautiful little music as well. It's definitely it's on my list of games I'll be watching super closely, and I want to live stream that on my channel.
Number 6. I've realised what I've written down is The Forest, which actually there's a whole video on our
It's
channel
already live
about.
on the chat. Go watch the Forest video.
So I will skip over it very quickly, but in the title I described it as first person Don't Starve with Cannibals. It basically is that. It's about crash landing. You were a survival expert, but your son is now missing, taken by sort of a naked man covered in blood, which, you know, I mean, that's awful. So you have to survive on this strange place in this like wooded island, it looks like, by chopping down stuff and making fires, and you know, when you die it does say how many days you've survived. So it's like, oh well, you know, so the survival is like the big thrust of it. Also there's a story about like finding you know, videos and pictures, and you can find the remains of explorers and miners who used to work on the island, and you also learn more about the cannibals and their kind of troubled society, and also it's an online co-op game, so you can have 3 of your friends join you in your world, or you can join one of their worlds, and you can build stuff and survive together. And it gets a bit less scary, they say, when you know.
Yeah, because you've got friends with you, and you're probably building ridiculous structures if you're with your friends. Let's face it.
Exactly, and then so then you can kind of survive tougher stuff and join forces and play cooperatively. That's The Forest. If you want to know more about it and see more of the footage, then check out our other video, which just leaves the last thing, number 7.
Yeah, number 7 is.
Which is? What is number 7? Holly's checking what number 7 is. Here we go.
So this particular game, if anyone watched myself and Rob on the Paris Games Week pre-show live stream,
Nope.
I know, you're so mean. I actually got to announce this game for PlayStation 4.
Right.
And it's The Gardens Between.
Right.
It's from Voxel Agents, and it's this beautiful thing, Monument Valley meets Fairs type game.
I was getting
with
Fairs
time
vibes.
with time mechanics.
Yeah.
It's a puzzle game with no dialogue. There's only one button, and that's the interact button. No timer, so you can take your time to solve them. But we have got capture, and hopefully we will be making a whole video on my gameplay because I really want to share it. Beautiful music as well.
Yeah.
There's something really, really charming about it, and where like The Forest is amazing, but it's super stressful, high pressure. While this is a puzzle game and it'll drive you nuts, the fact that there's no timer on it and you can just relax, figure out a puzzle.
The animation is good. You rewind and fast forward, and it's something really satisfying and smooth about watching them move from one to the other.
And it is literally just the time mechanic is just left and right on the analog stick. That's it. That's just how you do it.
Moving backwards and forwards. It's Jonathan Blow-ish, but
you couldn't. I don't think you could not mention Jonathan Blow when you were talking about it. But
no, exactly. So we just did. Right, the end. An honourable mention for me to Kentucky Route Zero TV edition, because everyone has heard of that because it's like quite a big hit on PC. But I played that, and it's just like tons of weird stuff, and an analog like broadcasting technology thing is my thing. So I really
totally your
it's
thing.
very hard to sit down and just play one scene of that game and know what the hell is going on. It turns out, but I did want to play more at the end. So
it's actually the first thing we played. We got to the booth. Nathan was like, "Oh, cool, Kentucky," and I was like, "Watam!" And I just sort of ran straight off like a child. Nathan was like, "I'm gonna sit here and play this," and I did Watam and I did Dinner County.
So those are your 7 games that are awesome you've never heard of, and 2 kind of extra ones, Watam and Kentucky Route Zero TV edition. Thank you for watching. Thank you for joining us at PSX 2017. We've had a great time. I would love to be back next year. So who knows, that might happen. In the meantime, stay subscribed to PlayStation Access. Do like this video if you enjoyed it. Let us know what your favourite game that you saw at PSX 2017 was. And we'll see you soon.